Hello everyone, my name is Saurabh Pant and I hope you're doing very fine at your home. The Neet 2021 is also over, and I would say from the last 5 years, this has been one of the most controversial examination which has been conducted. Be it before the exam, paper leak, rumors, which were rumors at that point of time obviously, but after the exam, actual paper leak also happened, and right now the police is running behind the culprits, and maybe by the end of the day, the NTA might not consider conducting the NEET examination one more time. That is what I have understood with the response of the NTA people right now. They are trying to, prepare the answer keys and all. They are not very much interested in reconducting the examination. Which brings me firstly to the point number one. How was the paper? So firstly, I'll answer the question in simple, sweet words so that people, those who came just to know about the paper level and cutoff, their time should not get wasted. Paper cutoff will go significantly down this year in the NEET examination. And I'm not saying because the number of seats have increased or aspirants have increased. All these things, they balance out each other. Eventually, the cutoff is depending upon the performance of the student during the examination, which involves three things. Number one, the mindset of the majority of the people in the country. Number two, the paper difficulty level. And number three, the paper length. And when I say length, I mean how much time it takes to solve each question in the examination. So coming to one by one point, what the student felt on the examination day. So this analysis I'm not giving just from the faculty point of view, because if I'll say how the chemistry paper was, from my point of view, as a teacher when I saw the paper, obviously every teacher who will be teaching the whole subject, they will realize that the paper was easy. That's the first thought you will get. But then when you will sit and actually solve the paper, you will realize as a student how much difficult that paper was. So starting from biology. Biology was directly from NCERT. There was no major controversy. Maybe one question here and there can happen, but major controversy was not there. Majorly from the NCERT, just like the last 2 years of the NEET examination. But the options in the biology papers were given so close means even the theoretical question was there, until you read all the four options, clarity of the answer was not coming. It is not like you read the question and immediately you know the answer without reading all the options in all the questions, which makes the paper lengthy. Now, understand the approach of a student. He goes with the mindset that he will be able to solve the biology paper in max to max 40 to 45 minutes, and then he'll be going to chemistry and so on. But when the person is getting stuck in biology because the options are very close, he cannot leave the question because he knows the question. He or she knows the question. At the same time, he also has to make sure that the paper get completed in time so that eventually he can take the time out for physics, which is quite a demanding subject as far as the NEET examination, those 3 hours are concerned. For such a person, he will already be in a panic state by doing around half the paper of biology, which might be taking around 25 to 30 minutes also for some of the aspirant, which increase the pressure level. So paper was easy, biology, as far as the subject is concerned. But solving the paper was not easy, that is for sure, because of the length of the options that they have gone, details of the option that the NTA has gone into this time. So a time consuming paper of biology. Now the person who is writing the paper, he came to chemistry. 1-2 questions of chemistry he saw. He found the question paper to be from what he has maybe prepared. At least as far as my students are concerned, they would have found it very easy. At least they would have known the paper. But chemistry being chemistry, I always say biology is a subject that you know and you know that you know. Physics is a subject that you don't know, but you know that you don't know. Chemistry is a subject, while doing the paper, you think you will know, but you don't know that you don't know. So eventually, while doing the paper, that much difficulty might not be coming. But here also NTA played some games. Some questions were there, I'll say one by one. Like one, obviously, world famous numerical that has become now NCERT solved example. It was Vivid Bharati radio station. Solved example was there in all our notes. But we also changed the value to give that in the papers and in the notebook, because we assumed NEET being a 180 questions question paper in 180 minutes should have the question which can be solved in that duration. Now eventually NTA made it to the 200 questions also, but when the time it was going on, the topic was going on, it was 180 question paper. So we also thought that a calculation like this should not be coming in the examination. Now number one, At a national level, you have given such a question in the examination. Number two, you have given the option so close, maybe intentionally, but I feel that has been unintentionally done. That happened by mistake. 219.29 was the answer after solving the question. And mind it, solving using calculator as a teacher you can do easily. In the examination hall, the student who has already surpassed the level of the amount of time he was giving to biology, he surpassed that already by 10 minutes. He's already under pressure. He gets such a numerical. Numerical is easy because C equal to nu lambda everyone can do. He cannot leave the question also, and he cannot leave the calculation in half also. It was very frustrating for the student, and when you get mentally disturbed, the whole paper gets spoiled further as well. So this 219.2 and 219.3 question played with the emotions of the student a lot, which was highly irresponsible from the side of NT, I would say. I should not be telling them how to make the paper, but one thing I can say, students can get very good rank with very less marks also, but that will happen after one big month. What about the mental stress that the student has to tolerate during those 1 month period when the rank is not announced, counseling is not done? Eventually they will be happy. But what about the mental health of the student at that time? And what if someone does something wrong or thinks about something wrong during this period of time just because thinking their marks are less? One thing I will say here, if you got 500 marks this year, it is equivalent to 550 of last year. At least 40 to 50 marks difference is going to come in the cutoff. Minimum to minimum, I'm saying. So don't get disheartened by this. Sir, my marks are lesser. I don't know what has happened. Nothing has happened. You have got a very unbalanced paper. You have got a paper which was not made responsibly. A paper in which the physics, chemistry and bio was not properly balanced. In case you are making the bio lengthy, it is your responsibility as a conducting body to make chemistry shorter. If you are taking chemistry lengthy, you have to make sure the calculation of the physics paper are smaller, because the student has to get a feeling that at least he was able to complete the paper. And then when you have a rule, unsaid rule was there that the paper will be given at 2 o'clock. That means if you are taking the signatures and thumb impression after 2 p.m. in many centers, that means the guidelines were given or not given, I have no idea. But this is what actually happened at the ground level. The student got even lesser time to solve the paper and even more disturbances in the biology paper in the beginning, which created even a more devastating environment in the mind of the students, especially who are in the moderate range. So students, you don't panic. And central body, I will say, if someone can listen to this, please try to understand. You don't have to set a paper of a single subject, for God's sake. You have to set a paper of physics, chemistry and bio. At least make sure that you yourself as a teacher are able to solve that paper in the 3 hours, or at least read that paper in those 3 hours. Coming back to chemistry part. 78% by weight. Highly absurd question. Same question I have given in my paper. I can, if you want, I can post that paper also in the comment section, in the description box as well, or comment section as well. Same question I have given 2 times in the paper. Once I have given 75%, once I have given 80% because the whole number answer was coming. Out of the blue, 78% they have given by mass of carbon. Very good. You have given a very nice value. What I feel, maybe they were writing 75 and the typist or the operator might have written 78 and they didn't bother to cross check. Because if you intentionally has given CH 3.38 and option as CH3 and CH4, so maybe you were trying to check significant figure logic in this question of yours, but I think you forgot. There are 200 big damn questions a student has to do in 180 minutes. At least if you are giving a question, you could have made sure that you put this question, save this question for the next year where the number of questions would be lesser to at least read. But as the paper was unbalanced, that 78% was also given either intentionally or unintentionally. Either way, it was not called for. It was not something which should have been done in this paper at least. Next, match the column. You have filled the whole paper with 3 to 4 match the column except 1. Remaining all the match the columns, student has to know at least 2 to 3 options. Now it's very frustrating for a student to solve PCL5 structure correct, SF6 correct, then check the option. He finds 2 options are still matching in the match the column. So he has to solve the third question also, and then only he'll be able to get the answer. So for earning 4 marks in this NEET paper, you have to do a lot of hard work as compared to the previous last 3-4 year NEET papers. Next, environmental chemistry match the column. Same thing. Options were not very close if I say, but when you are asking a match the column from a subject or a chapter, that means you are asking each and every nook and corner of that chapter. That means the student has to make sure that he has read all the things. And when the options were given, SO2 was there. Now SO2, if someone has read the environmental chemistry chapter properly, they will realize SO2 is responsible for acid rain also, but you get H2SO4. SO2 is responsible for stratospheric pollution also in the presence of catalyst, you get SO3. In my videos also, this is very clearly written. But as a student, if you think, you will see SO2 and O2, you will see acid rain, you will try to match it. It consumes time. As a student, I am saying. As a teacher, you will say, I have taught this. Yes, I have also taught it. It's there on YouTube. You go and check. Every question is from the videos. It's not about a teacher. It's about a student mindset at that point of time, how much panic each question was giving. Because he's solving the question, matching and not finding the answer in the option, then again have to attempt the same question. This consumes time. Now understand, this whole is going to affect physics also. This thing which is becoming so long for you to understand, the student has gone through this in the examination before even attempting the physics paper. So understand this thing next. Next, HF, SCL, HBr, HI, one statement type of question was there. Who in his right mind as a paper setter will give the same concept 2 times in the same paper? One side you are giving questions where the significant figures also you are checking, 219.29 apart from the calculation. One side you are giving a question where highly pure liquid metal is mentioned. Now highly pure in NCERT is given for zone refining also. Liquid metal is mercury. And chromatographic technique is used for the mobile phase being liquid or gas. All 3 options you have given. You are mentioning hexagonal primitive unit cell and hexagonal closed pack options are given in the question. Understand, primitive and closed pack are different. In all this scenario, you are trying to give a question of HF, SCl, HBr, HI acidic nature 2 times in the same paper. And if you think this is intentionally given, I'm sorry. This was a lucky draw which was done. 2 questions of same concept came in the same paper. This is, if it happens in our paper of Sri Goshalite, we will have a meeting of all our directors and decide ki how have you given the same concept 2 times in the same paper. Our same concept was not even repeated in the 12 grand test as well. So you need to understand, as a national body, national conducting body, the paper was very absurdly made. It was tough, but very absurdly tough. Same concept repeated 2 times. Now, second time when it came, 4 options, HF, SCl, HBr, HI, H2, H2S, ammonia, pH3, then inert pair effect, 4 options. 4 options, 4 concept, 4 marks. How demanding the marks were there in the NEET examination this year, you can understand in chemistry. Now, obviously, my students will be comfortable because in all my videos, I did not take HF, SCl, HBr, H2, H2S separately. I taught all of them together using a story of cheating. It was easy for them. I'm not saying it was tough. I am saying in general, not everyone get the good quality education in every nook and corner of the country. Anyway, then you talk about the question of, match the column of coordination compounds. You have to find the magnetic moment. Very good question, brilliant question. Bhai Sahab, same model in JEE Main you have given, there you have to find the magnetic moment of one compound and you got 4 marks there. These NEET applicants who are solving 200 questions or at least checking 200 questions, solving 180 questions in 180 minutes, for them you are giving a match the column in which they have to solve 4 different compounds and then get the answer of mu. Magnetic moment, then they will be able to answer, get 4 marks out of that. Now you can say, sir, they can solve one question, they can get the answer. Yes, they can. But before this, already 2 match the columns came in which they solved PCl5SF6 and answer was not coming. So now as a mindset of a student, he's thinking every match the column I have to solve in detail. It consumes time and now you reach to physics. Time left, some people half an hour, some people 40 minutes, some very brilliant people 1 hour, 10 minutes. Section B was given to make the paper easy, but NTA has intentionally made the paper extremely tough in section B, be it chemistry or be it physics. Physics, to bhaiya, they have devastated completely, section B. Half the questions were at the super difficult level. I will not say difficult, super difficult level. Answers the teachers are solving, they are also getting wrong because options also in chemistry as well, very tricky options were given. Very lengthy and very tricky options were also given, just like I told about zone refining and all, primitive unit cell as well, maybe intentionally mistake or unintentionally. Either way, a good student will get confused. BF3, electron deficient, if you consider back bonding, 8 electron, but because electron deficient was written, that's why it was 6 electrons only. So you need to understand a student who is above the average level, who has got good education, might get extremely confused as well. In chemistry, in physics, to bhaiya complete devastation happened because of 2 reasons. Number 1, calculative paper. Same for chemistry. Chemistry was also calculative unnecessarily, and same for physics. Apart from that, you gave tough questions in which formulas were less used and brain was more used. तो भैया give time for solving that paper na. Why are you giving frustration to the students? So time was not left because of all the things which we had discussed in the last 14-15 minutes. Time was not there for physics. The student was already under pressure. The brain get tired when you solve lengthy questions. Matching the options is very tough. The brain get tired. And when the brain get tired and you get even difficult question, the student get panicked. So even though they knew many questions of physics which could have been done, they still were not able to get more than 40-50 marks, many of the students in the country. Crossing 100 in physics was a very big treat. Crossing 130-140 in chemistry is a very big treat. And obviously biology, because you attempted, most of the people attempted biology at first, they would have crossed around 320-330 marks comparatively easily, I would say. This is what I found in the student of our institute at least. 350 around, many students were getting. So finally, how was the paper all through? Easy, moderate, tough is not the category I will like to classify the paper as. This was absurd. Many good topics were ignored and many unnecessary topics were combined together and given just for one objective, to intentionally make the paper tough. Good job. But tough does not mean lengthy. And if you make something lengthy, make sure you have to give some questions to balance that length of the paper. Because if a student is not able to complete the paper in the given time, and you are not able to release the result before 15 to 20 days, that 15-20 days of devastation of the student mind is also your responsibility as the central conducting body of this examination. Anyway, as anything the government does generally, they don't take the accountability. They don't, especially the conducting bodies, they are not very responsible in after exam feedback. But in case it reaches to the right people, this paper was absurd, this paper was time consuming, this paper will have a decrease in cutoff, true. Eventually the students will be happy. But my concern is, what about the time? I've seen the students and their parents crying. They are thinking they got lesser marks, and I have to tell them individually one by one, ki, sir, madam, student, your marks are not less. With this marks, you will get a very good college. Coming to the cutoffs, in quick nutshell, whatever the cutoff of your region is there, at the higher level, that means AIMS Delhi, JIPMER Pondicherry, AIMS Bhubaneswar and Bhopal, there will be a drop of around 5 to 10 marks in the higher level, because the toppers, they are doing this thing from class 9, 10th onwards. Many of the students who are in the mathematics background up to class 10th in the fundamental course, then switch on to biology. For them the paper was okay, because they would have managed all these things very well previously as well. So higher range students will be getting good marks. Now coming to lower range, that means around 600 plus student of last year type, that means national quota. For the national level counseling, the cutoff will go down by at least 40 to 45 marks. Can go down up to 40 to 45 marks. Minimum to minimum, bhaiya, 20 marks decrease, so you can at least write in the paper and 100% assure you will get minimum 20 marks difference. It can up to even go, the national quota can also even go up to 580, 585 as well, if the day is good and the cheating is properly hindered. If the students who are cheating, they get caught, because the cheating can also increase the level of the cutoff of the country as well. If some more number of people cheated, and if they are able to catch all of them, the cutoff will go around 585 to 590, not more than that. Third, state, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, or any other state with a cutoff of around 530 to 540 last year, somewhere around that. Let's take a round of figure, 550 cutoff. Any state was having last year, will have a cutoff of around 500 now. So cutoff at this level, at the lower level, will decrease by around 40 to 50 minimum. If, what my analysis is that the lower students, the lower range students, they are not very comfortable in physics. They are highly dependent upon biology and chemistry. So they would have invested a lot of their time in biology and even more time in chemistry, because the paper was even lengthier and more calculative. Because of that, the time left for physics was even lesser. So they were not able to see all the questions. So they were not able to pick up the questions that they could have done, which might end up giving them even marks in 2 digits below 50 also, many of the students, many good students also. In fact, a few students of mine are there, they have got 160 in chemistry and just 35 in physics. You can understand, just because time was less. So there in that range, the cutoff, for example, I'm saying below 500 can go even up to 10-20 marks below 500 also. That means if it can even reach to 480, 485 also. But it will highly depend upon how the students of a specific state have handled that paper. So that cannot be a guarantee, but you might find some surprising cutoff this year, no doubt. If again I'm saying, if the cheating part has been properly maintained by the government, and that is at least this much is their responsibility. The least they can do is at least catch all the people who are cheating, so that the real aspirant should not get the drawback because of the incompetency of the authorities. Now, overall, if I'll say, so biology will play a very crucial role in deciding your selection, because if you got very good marks in bio, at least crossing 320, you'll be in a very comfortable position. Then only you'll be able to compensate the loss you have made in physics. So bio on the easier side will decide your selection. Chemistry will highly decide the kind of college you are going to get this year. Very, very, very crucial part. Chemistry is going to play finally in the NEET examination after 2-3 years of drought in the chemistry. Why? Because biology, most of the aspirants will get very good marks. Physics, most of the aspirants will get very less marks. Most, I am saying, not considering the toppers. Majority of the people, will they get a good national level college or a good state level college, will depend upon chemistry. So those who have read their chemistry properly, they would have found it they will find after 15-20 days, not right now, after 15-20 days, they will find a good increase in their rank eventually. Physics, on the other hand, will decide who will enter into AIMS Delhi and JIPMER Pondicherry. So this was the overall analysis of the chapter and the paper, and as well as the cutoffs. Coming to my final point. Firstly, a humble request to the parents, please don't pressurize your child right now too much, because he's already under a lot of stress. You might have understood, if you have listened to this video, you might have got how much real-time pressure the student has faced in those 3 hours, and the student is not even able to forget that feeling till now. They have got lesser marks, and that is because everyone got lesser marks. A competitive examination, you have to wait for the rank to decide about which college or which expectation your child has met or not. So please give a little loose rope for the student to at least try to absorb what has gone in the last 2-3 days with him or her. A little humble request. You will understand when the rank will come. I think most of the parents will be very happy. The students will be able to get a good rank with a very less marks. Next, to the students, I will say, if you get, I will not say got till now, because marks are not going to give you a clear picture today. You will have to wait for the rank. If you will get a good rank, good. Go to the medical college, join it, become a very good doctor and serve the country. But if you miss by a small fraction or something, or if you miss with a huge margin also, don't feel sad. This is how the life is. The paper was absurd. It's okay. The main point is, if you want to become a doctor and the government has given you unlimited number of attempts to, write the paper, so take the use of that. You cannot say my whole life got over, I don't know what has happened. You got the experience, you understood yourself after preparing where you are going wrong and how you can actually make up to it. So you have become more experienced now. Life is very long, 1 year, 2 year does not matter in that, but yes, your college do matter, I will say. So if you are interested in doing MBBS, make sure start preparation again without any hesitation. A real successful person is that person who knows how to handle his success as well as his failure. Because if you are going to quit mentally, now the life is done, I will not be able to again reach to the higher level, I will not be able to write the paper again, that means you are trying to be a successful person by taking a loser route. So keep this in mind. You have that in yourself. Paper was tough, you took too much of pressure, no problem. 1 year later, you'll be mentally stronger, academically stronger. Competition will increase, but your level will increase more than that. So talk to the teacher whom you actually can trust with your academics. Ask them, discuss with them what you feel was your drawbacks and demerits, and how much capabilities you have. You can ask from the teacher itself as well. You should be able to, crack this examination or not in future. What I feel is that whatever the NEET paper comes, any aspirant can crack it. You just need consistency. Only consistency, not high IQ, not very high calculations also. 4-5 calculations were there, ignore that. You will still get into a good medical college, a top 10 in the country. All you need is consistency, which was missing in your performance in the last few years. What people usually remember is last few weeks or days or months. I prepared a lot. Yes, you prepared, but maybe sometimes it is a little late to start the preparation. And that's why in some papers like this, where the in-depth knowledge plus calculations are required, some students might feel a huge difficulty as compared to the remaining people. But if you start from the day one and consistently you are doing your work, your homework properly, there is no force in this world who can stop you from becoming the doctor. So all the very best. Crack the exam. In case you feel you can do much better, do it. Because after 2-3 years, when you will be outside this phase, you should not have a regret that you did not try it one more time. Regret haunt more than the failures. So keep that in mind. All the very best. Thank you so much.